it's time to create a page for editing the theme's options. To perform this task, we need to use a function called add_menu_page. In the resources section of this lecture, I provide a link to learn more about this function. We have quite a few options for this function. Scroll down to the examples section. You'll see WordPress suggests that we should use a hook called admin_menu and then uses this function from within that hook. So let's do that. Add this action, and the function we want to call is ju_admin_menus. I'm going to create a folder called admin inside the includes folder. This folder will contain all files related to the WordPress admin. Inside this admin folder, let's create a file called menus.php. Lastly, include this file. Inside this file, create the ju_admin_menus function. Now we can call the add_menu_page. This function has quite a few parameters. The first parameter is the title of this page. This will appear on the top of the browser in the tabs. I'm going to pass in the text Udemy theme options. The second parameter is the name that will appear in the sidebar. I'm going to keep this simple and pass in theme options. The third parameter is the capability. We haven't talked about capabilities yet. In the resource section, I provided a link to the capabilities codex page. A capability is basically what a user can or can't do. By default, WordPress provides 6 default roles, which are super admin, administrator, editor, author, contributor, and subscriber. Each of these roles has certain capabilities. Let's scroll down to the capability versus role table section of this page. As you can see, a super admin can do everything, whereas a subscriber can only read posts and pages. So, how does this relate to our function? Well, WordPress would like to know who can view this page by passing in a capability. Currently, I only want super admin and administrators to view this page. If we look at our table, we can use any of these capabilities that only a super admin or administrator can do. I'm going to use edit_theme_options. You don't have to use this specific capability. You can use any of the other ones just as long as they apply to both super admins and administrators. The fourth parameter is the menu slug. This is basically the URL. I'll show you in a moment. This should be a unique URL. Do you know what we do when we want something to be unique in WordPress? We prefix it with JU_. I'm going to pass in JU_theme_OPTS. The fifth parameter is the name of the function that will be called. We're going to call this function JU_theme_OPTS_page. This function doesn't exist, so let's create that now. In the admin folder, create a file called options-page.php. Next, include this file from the functions file. Lastly, let's define the function. Whatever you output from this function will be outputted onto the page. We can, if we want to, use WordPress's stylings and classes to style this page. However, we won't. Instead, we'll be using Bootstrap. First things first, let's try outputting something onto our page. There is one special class that we will use, and that's called the wrap class. This class is created by WordPress. This is just one of the very few classes that WordPress provides that we can use. This class will take care of placing our page to the right of the menu and make it responsive. Let's output a simple message. Now go to your WordPress Admin dashboard and you'll notice our menu pop up. Click on it. You'll see our message is outputted and positioned correctly. One last thing, earlier I told you about the slug. Inside the URL bar, you'll see the slug we passed in. In order to access this page, all we have to do is use the page query and use the value ju_theme_opts, and that should bring us to this page. That's how our slug works. Now that the page is being displayed, let's start creating the forms and adding some styles.